Hello, Americans. I understand how President slash Chief Obama, President slash Chief Biden, and President slash Chief Trump have been simultaneously prohibited from and simultaneously kept incapable of speaking for black people's rights of eyes honestly in the Constitution unabridged and with Judge Napolitano and everyone else. And these are great people. The Judge Napolitano is a great person trying to be good, trying to give us an alternative. But in other words, just a fake size as an array being used remotely, criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions, rot, slash hyper criminally foreign influence. I'm not even a lawyer. Trantola and Trantola is recorded. There's also there are proofs that other lawyers with their advertisements are involved with the agencies and foreign and domestic military, criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions, rot, the here and there. Little punks jumping in our conversations dishonestly. They're getting baited into it too because they're tactically delusions raw, involved with interbrand switching names, pretending passions and emotions. You know how quick they can just go like that and pretend lies about people's passions. That's why they keep having people going in there and really they don't know what to do about it because they're being rude. So they describe it as their passions and emotions. Passions and emotions are about the simultaneous slash hyper simultaneous. Otherwise, the descriptions of them are wrong and tactical delusions wrong. This would have been solved, but the interbranch forged and switched names as collusions with the names next to crime scenes, news at the same time, names next to campuses, and worse. They're putting fake and changed things increasingly into databases since before computers. This republic has been abridged since before modern religious messengers were born. Vaccines, in other words. And the science, in other words, our short words, our founders, principle. I read that we were directed to understand our founders, plural, as James Madison, singular, as a single person. So it would be clear when then they went to George Washington and got him a degree to use James Madison's plan. And we were directed to refer to our founders, like the experts in science, supposed to know that so they don't keep a fight and keep what's truths used for lies. Especially like how no one had free speech and everyone had to pretend the other to an extent, /s, or that body would be sensed, including if they were a majority of people, including if they were everyone, and that would be adapted to. And they knew that with that cause too, and Captain had sustained roles with it, already had invested, propagated, but self-cultivated roles, blaming other things, others, and ourselves, not just for all that, for the what caused it, the breaching method, and while doing that, self-valuing this being and haven't been blamed, even how forced. You guys are still playing the differences games. You guys are hiding right through cultures A through Z, through differences A through Z, how the breaching method used it and uses it. Had we had unabridged constitution, our values defended, we would have been allowed to use the hyper evidential, how we have black people's rights of eyes, and they are the same color eyes and different color eyes at the same time. And nature is showing us about difference, and nature is showing us an extent of its body, because there are other species bodies that are also individual species bodies of individuals with all group differences being generated, but that which is neither us nor them, but is all things anyway. In many pray vaccines, because we need to get the syntax free. We need to get free from collusion /s that also predicate acts with facts methods, the names with the people tied to databases, and then further as the names of the people, the sciences. Forgiveness was because we could discern at countries A through Z the difference of them as the most guilt or the overt criminal enterprises or terrorists or the foreign or criminal foreign influences. Those are all things that the breaching method designed to be blamed on other things, others ourselves. Nature's demonstrations of itself. Nature demonstrates to us a human fact human nature breaching method is one of the things true always. That the breaching that how the laws that had black and white, that had Native American, described then and now, tactical terror from how James Madison declassified for us to explain about it. We have people with the nature debate using the words of our founders, leaving out what they declassified and actually communicated. And how everyone had to hide their motivations, pretend they were other by using truth for lies. Also, simultaneously, in other words, there's a breaching method there, using truth to screen motivations. That's how they're forcing. In other words, that has nothing to do with truth neither. That's why they're preventing presidents from using their truths and approaching them with a calm speech, or preventing them from attending with anger to things like black people's rights of eyes and people who deny the significance of this alone as a non-lawyer or any non-lawyer like myself or like a president, even if they are a lawyer, to see right through readings of statutes and precedents affected, for example, by rules of predicate acts methods with facts methods, readings of statutes already. And plus, the interbranch, the identities of law have roles of all kinds of medicines crimes, drugs crimes, and increasingly have to pretend other by changing and faking which audio recorded, faked conversations and transcripts, audio at filmed locations. They're putting fake transcripts, fake behavior as if described in a novel. Fake their behavior racketeering worse than war crimes, while their tactically delusions are out. The only three branches of government in every country, A through Z, they are recorded. Tactically delusions are out, while criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions are out. Fact, human nature, quiet aspects of nature regarding the nature of debate, regarding how James Madison and their plan, they had to counter-extort with James Madison, with George Washington, agreed to use that plan and to counter-extort at key locations involved with the slavery against everyone, and distinctly northern colonies and southern colonies, but as those that, and then America's founders were born. Already roles with that had been, already what that was caused by, and what it cost was blamed on everything of themselves exactly the way the breaching method wanted it need. Because nature doesn't stop showing us a human fact, human nature breaching method is one of the things that is true always. That slavery and all those different laws were about, including the witch trials. We don't leave out how simultaneously there's a witch trials place right next to Webb House, now renamed the Webb Stevens House, and still they're communicating other than our founders communicated to have communicated about that place and for themselves. They have people using the words of our founders, leaving it out and changing it, or they have experts on it and all exceptions. At the same time, with overt criminal enterprises, private ones too, it's speaking about things like democracy, voting. We have rights that are too numerous to have to list them. Voting can't defend that. Can't defend fake. In other words, the predicate acts with facts methods, zero natures of organized crimes, relying upon that, relying upon little tricks to pull people, and then with the value of it, what it means if someone got arrested or some things like that. They're framing people. They recorded themselves doing this very hyper evidentially. We have to appreciate the hyper evidential to discern it. All sides in criminal civil cases, the lawyers, their sources, their family members, their neighbors, conjunctions where they go. The same thing with the courts, the same thing with the police forms, the same thing with the politicians, same thing with corners of streets, how it manifests. It's used remotely, hyper criminally foreign influence, specifically to keep things like criminal foreign influence blamed at countries A through Z, until that is true. The World Trade Center attack was effectively pulled off to give them the phenomenon of the words torture, the words extremism, and radical to use criminally foreign influence tactically delusions raw. Police that are refusing to identify themselves recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed There are people with the name Scalora involved with them. With Sardis, they have involved with the Demore family and others next to a campus I went when I was for 1 year when I was in kindergarten in Wethersfield on Valleycrest Street and conjunctions to it. All along Route 3 has something to do with the World Trade Center attack and the state judicial branch officers involved with wire crime action methods. With the Wethersfield police, they attached me again to face conversations with themselves when I was a kid and when I was an adult. There are multiple police departments and retired police chiefs and their intimate ties. We're involved with the 80 Carroll Drive with a Phil Colo, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed by people with a Whiting forensics, also with the Joshua Julian, who I've never seen in my area. But a Phil Colo, a day after another kid was swerving on a bike near my house and repeating one of the names, I recorded involved with them. Before and after, I recorded them involved with abuses of kids, sexual, medical, digital, legal, at the same time. The same ones with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, pretending to be legitimately with acting professors and roles with foreign and domestic military. They are not. All kinds of tactical delusions too. And then they want to pretend they care about, they could speak for, calmness, decorum. They have rape threats with New Britain Superior Court with their Facebook page, and then a whole bunch of other Facebook pages as passions crimes, influenced by military foreign, and as the ones with the FBI director Robert Luskin, as one of the names I discovered, involved with Hartford courts and their family members and intimate ties. Also the same with New Britain Superior Court, intercities before the World Trade Center attack. They had been on and off campuses also with the kids of leaders of the kids and the leaders of the kids, different and the differences of their guilt roles with a method that is multi-pronged against kids, middle age, and elderly.